Sometimes in life one may find, by both luck and design, the perfect place to make a project that is at once bold, challenging, innovative, yet fraught with dangers and risk. It also may mean a large investment in time, energy, and money. The farm at Laguna Blanca is a project that must succeed. It must succeed because to fail will further embolden the chemical-ridden, soil-degrading, unhealthy model of industrial agriculture that lies at the center of the biodiversity crisis, the massive environmental crisis that has ensnared us all. Conversely, to succeed, or even to partially succeed, will embolden other farmers and policymakers to redirect agriculture toward holistic, organic, and soil-building practices. It may be too much to even imagine a total success. Farming, as any good farmer knows, is never a sure thing. Weather, now more chaotic than ever, pests, weeds, changing economic and agricultural policies, and any number of human shortcomings conspire to befuddle one's hopes and dreams. Yet despite such obstacles, I believe that all these headaches will be worth the effort, if even we get only halfway to our goals. So let me tell you the story of what already is, in my mind, one of the world's most beautiful farms. What you get if you design the farm to stop erosion can be mighty beautiful. These techniques can add health and beauty to the agricultural landscape. And adding beauty will have other benefits that I will describe a little later. Before that, I would like to show you what we've been doing in our first years. Consider what the Laguna Blanca farm looked like when we bought it in 2007. It was a typical industrial chemical input monoculture farm similar to thousands like it. This one located in Entre Rios province on the Paraná River in Argentina. The land had excellent alluvial soils, but low in organic matter from intensive cultivation. Despite having been cleared of forests only a few years ago, these topsoils, however, had potential to be reinvigorated, and the farm offered physical features that suggested it could become a dazzling beauty. There was not much infrastructure, a few sheds in bad shape, which asked either to be recycled or to be put out of their misery. There were old corrals from earlier cattle operations, piles of plastic buckets from used-up agrochemicals. And so we began the task of cleanup, breaking up cement slabs, and getting the place in shape. Erosion was our worst nightmare. My wife Chris can attest to the fact that I fretted every night when there were big rains in the forecast. The sloping terrain and fine soils are very prone to erosion, especially with the thunderstorms typical of our area. And in fact, when we bought the farm, it came with some major erosion gullies. Before anything else, we hired a top surveyor to plan and lay out erosion-preventing terraces. Using contoured terraces spaced at measured intervals to minimize the slope, we designed a system which reduced each of the field's watershed by 10 times, thus reducing the water volume and velocity. In the first year, just to get the ground covered to deter erosion, we quickly planted monocultures, and slowly but surely we built the terraces over nearly 3,000 acres. In step-by-step fashion, seeding out with a rich mixture of 12 different pasture grasses. Soon the terraces were thick with grass, and wildflowers from the seed bank in the soil began to appear. Within a year, we had the network of terraces finished and stopped erosion almost completely. Now, these terraces are not our invention, but relatively few other farmers in our province are building them, and we believe that Laguna Blanca's comprehensive strategy of erosion control, soil revitalization, and diverse organic production methods is unique in the region. We also began restoring roadsides, filling in ditches, some up to 5 feet deep. In short, if one does not make the effort to install terraces, one will see one's farm slowly dissolve and the topsoil flow into the gullies and onto the rivers and go all the way to the sea. It will only be a matter of time. All good farmers have to think about the wild creatures and the habitat they need. As someone once remarked, it is as unjust to be taking away the home of wild creatures as it is to take away the home of human beings. So, to share the planet with other creatures, at least at Laguna Blanca, we have over 50% of the farm out of bounds for production and left wild. Looking around, we find native forests which border or intertwine with fields and orchards. Forests and savannas ring a great deal of Laguna Blanca. The farm even offers our own Ipanema, Copacabana white sand beaches, but without the crowds. Wildflowers abound and provide good habitat for beneficial insects, as well as add beauty to the landscapes. The small river San Feliciano joins the Paraná just at our southern tip, and it leaves us nicely dovetailed into the larger riverine ecosystem of the Paraná just to our south and west. As for wildlife, there's plenty of it, so much that we have problems with hunters trespassing. Foxes keep a lookout for their prey. Brocket deer can be seen nearly every day if you keep an eye out for them. The Gato Montes, or Jeffrey's cat, makes its home in the neighborhood. Even some unwanted guests, such as the axis deer, which does not belong in this ecosystem. Birds are plentiful. Here's a flock of ibises winging in to hunt for ground insects. Kingfishers fish in the lakes and rivers. Parrots stop to chat. Raptors squabble over their territories. Whistling herons whistle at each other. The elegant white-necked heron graces our view across the marshes. Hundreds of parrots can sometimes be seen at the end of summer as they head north. Curious Mr. Fox stops to check me out as he zips down a windrow of hay. And a wise old owl keeps his eye on us from under our office key. A suncho deer passes by our window, giving us a satisfied feeling that our wild neighbors are happy and healthy, at least at Laguna Blanca. Trees, like wildlife, are every bit as much our measure of beauty, landscape health, and exuberant nature. Algarrobos, romeros, and espinillos are the primary savanna trees in our area. By good fortune, the people who cleared the land, which once was native forest, left a few of the better specimens of these trees out in what are now our grain fields, which gives a touch that immeasurably adds beauty to these agricultural landscapes. This is a signal from the previous owners that they valued these old and noble trees and sought to break, at least as a gesture, from the sterile industrial mold of straight lines, rectangles, and so-called efficiency. Like any farm anywhere, there needs to be infrastructure. And to build it requires designers, architects, builders, and landscapers. Since I'm the de facto in-house designer, we started out with my rather childish drawings, but shortly Dolores put them into a professional form. And we set to work with a terrific construction company. Soon we got our momentum up and the bricks began to fly. We adopted what might be loosely called a regional style, modeling our buildings after the British Industrial Revolution brick and mortar vernacular that one finds in our nearby towns of Santa Fe and La Paz, and also throughout much of Argentina. Sheds, barns, houses, office, workshops, all began to take shape. Given our super high diversity of crops, we need consultants and specialists to give us periodic advice. So we built what we refer to as our motel, 5 rooms for visiting experts, plus various and sundry personal guests. Also the farm office, with our own grass used as the roof. We called on our trusty cabinet shop in Buenos Aires for the furniture, all made from recycled wood or refurbished furniture from the flea markets. Special attention was given to the interiors, while we look forward to having clients and buyers visiting from time to time. And to just make a visit to Laguna Blanca a thing to look forward to, and not just another night in the old hometown. Extra special effort was given to creating our office, as as it would eventually work as our sales showroom. And so we thought to put our minds to designing something special. And besides, we all have to work there a good deal of the time. Finally, what architect farm would be complete without the body? We plunked it right in the middle of an old water tank used for the cows at the former ranch. All in all, it took extra work, some extra costs, but the buildings will last centuries, our employee turnover will be low, and our team will be happier and more productive. The quality of the work atmosphere gives us a long list of applicants, for everyone wants a job at Laguna Blanca. All good farmers, especially organic farmers, know of the axiomatic law of return. Our soils need nutrients exactly like we humans do, and our animals do too. So nutrients are just another word for food. We could say soil food. We're thinking of our soil's nutrition day and night. Using compost and animal manures, growing biomass for composting and teas, and using green manures that we chop, mulch, and integrate into the soil. We also are using worm culture and its associated biostimulant, carefully designed beds to control the sun and rain to keep our trusty earthworms healthy under a grass root that can drop directly into the compost pile below when its life cycle is complete. As I already noted, Laguna Blanca is the antithesis of a conventional chemical monoculture farm. We are already a certified organic farm, and high agricultural diversity is the name of the game. We are cultivating 6 to 9 fine grains in winter, triticale, grapeseed, multiple varieties of wheat, barley, rye, oats, and flax. And in summer, the thick grains, like soybeans, red and white sorghums, quinoa, amaranth, foxtail millet, sunflower, millet, corn, chia, and buckwheat, plus garbanzos, peas, and vetch, lupin and radish, and other green manures for cover crops. Some crops, like flax, make a marvel with its beautiful blue flowers. And colorful stripes of the diverse crops paint the gently sloping fields. Now, with our soils recharged and their fertility at 5 to 7% organic matter, we can see yields every bit as good as the turbocharged chemical neighboring farms, and without erosion. We're on our way to direct seeding on top of our stubble or green manure, and of course without herbicides. Now, let's take a look at the orchards. Again, diversity is the central organizing principle. We began with research to determine which varieties would thrive in our Entre Rios climate and soil, and began planting in 2008, using the same contour terraces to control rain runoff and stop erosion. The terraces make ideal boundaries for each tree crop. We planted 540 acres so far, of walnuts, pecans, chestnuts, almonds, hazelnuts, with olives, figs, plums, pomegranate, apricots, flat peaches, raspberries, and persimmon to enable us to make dried fruit and nut mixtures under our own brand, all from the same farm. We've laid out the orchards in keeping with the blocks and bands of the contours, using the steepest and smallest areas of the farm in the southeast corner of the property, which primarily abuts to wildlife habitat and where the native savanna forests act as good insecticides. Each orchard block is no more than 2, 3, or 4 hectares. Other small blocks of the same variety appear in predetermined plots periodically throughout the orchard. This planting approach creates a layout of prepared barriers to pests. The next stage of the orchard is to add more diversity by planting on the contours themselves. Tea, grapes, aromatic plants, aronia berries, blueberries, artichokes, or even windbreaks in some areas are being contemplated. Livestock is an essential mix to the nutrient balance. We have chosen the Dorper sheep, which is heat tolerant and also excellent for converting grass to meat. We anticipate that once we get our flock to full capacity, roughly 3,500 animals will enjoy the sun and grass at Laguna Blanca. Soon, a chicken tractor system will mix poultry and sheep for better grass management. initial years, we've been producing forage for sale in the form of baled rolls. As we build up our Dorper flock, we will cut back to nearly zero bale production, so as not to export any more biomass off the farm than necessary. We have effected a trade of sorts with a local dairy farm, selling them forage and taking their manure for use in our composting facility. We use a richly diverse mixture of pasture grasses and rotate fields every 4 years with grains. It is said that if the earth lost its pollinators, civilization would last only a few years. Whether that is an exaggeration or not is debatable, perhaps, but not the fact that pollinators are essential for natural systems to function. Nonetheless, their role is vastly underappreciated. One thing is certain, we need pollinators every day at Laguna Blanca. We distribute apiaries throughout the farm, including in lowlands prone to flooding, as aquatic flowers are often full of tasty protein and nectar. Besides the pollinating services the bees deliver to our crops, and the honey and pollen they give us, they also help the broader ecosystem thrive. Art and craft, when well done, must go hand in hand with technical capacity. Every great painter knows how to draw. We have applied this idea to our tractor drivers, thus our in-house art project. We said all tractor drivers are perfectly capable of being land art Picassos. And to well express one's art, you have to have technique. And that means that you have to keep your tractor on a very tight rein, so as to keep those lines straight, those curves precise, and the seating consistent. For if you don't, you'll see later in the aerial photos that your mind must have wandered and you lost your attention, and this compromised your painting. Beyond just improving planting and harvesting operations, this creates pride in workmanship, which is not just a benefit to the individual, but overall this equates to better quality work, which is a benefit to the farm in general. It also makes for better team spirit, and thus employees who stay for years and build their experience right here. All in all, it's also a lot more fun to be painting the landscapes and not just bouncing along on a noisy tractor in the fields of an industrial farm. Instead, one is being an artist. Hats off to our land artists. Let them all be a Picasso or a Mondrian. So this gives you a bit of an idea of what we've been doing during our first years at Laguna Blanca. It will take art, science, discipline, and hard work to show our neighbors, our province, the nation, and the world that good agroecological farming practices render far better results than the conventional chemical industrial monoculture farming prevalent today, which is clearly destroying precious soils, contaminating water, altering ecosystems, driving species extinct, choking out family farms, and exacerbating a host of other ills. We have to be a lot smarter than this and learn that it is technique and not technology that will lead us out of this crisis that has us in its grip. We may yet have a long way to go, but we are at least on the road to a more promising future. Laguna Blanca is our beacon of hope, and it has been, at the very least, a beautiful journey so far. I see our efforts as a hopeful and promising transitional step away from annual monocultures towards perennial polyculture, the ideal future agriculture that my mentor and teacher Wes Jackson and his colleagues at the Land Institute in Kansas are striving to create. May Laguna Blanca be a good waypoint from here to there. Good farms, like a good business, sports team, or orchestra, any good organization really requires good leadership, a good team spirit, working at an engaging task, thus producing meaningful work. And thankfully, Laguna Blanca boasts just that. If we are to achieve our goal of helping make an agroecological revolution, it will take a movement of farmer conservationists like this. We are all thankful to our team and all who are advancing toward a truly biologically sustainable agriculture.